Welcome back to Tradespotting. And takes number 1 spot. BlackBerry, not selling phones anymore, but that's okay. They make government software now. Made.com, AlphaWave, both languishing below their float price on the London Stock Exchange. Hedges building short positions. Is there opportunity coming soon? Let's take a look at the charts. Bing bong, bing bong. So I hope you got a good look at those charts, because now you're back to me. Oh my god, I'm so confused. Same here. I hit play on things. I don't realize that the audio thing ain't set up to the video thing. People don't get every little treat at the same time, and then I feel bad afterwards. Oh my goodness, what a lovely drink. So sorry and thank you. Your patience is appreciated, as is your immediate clicking of the on like button. Pardon me. So I intended to do more on today's show than I'm going to be able to do. My dad came back, which is great news. He's back. He'd been away and he'd ended up missing his birthday, Christmas and New Year's, which is a brain tumour. So he was coming back. He was at the train meeting him. And didn't he fall over? So I've had to deal with him and then his silliness. And then Rocky and I were doing the course. So we had that activity put on there. So that lovely family day and little bits and bobs of work being done, but it does mean that I'm now slightly delayed and won't be able to get everything I hope to do done, because I had other problems to deal with when I got back after I made the intro. As much fun as it was, onto the charts. Here they are, the charts, the puppet intro. You can slide now into, slide please, into the paste. Here we are. I think Ben Stein suggests clear eyes for this situation. That's what I should be doing. Something like that. Clear eyes or red eyes? Which is it? What? I can't remember. Right, so you're looking at the charts here. We're on the 5-minute time frame on GME. And the question in the thumbnail, or the title, pardon me, is where's GME go next? To the top or the downside? With the top side being an immediate target. It might seem a little bit ambitious to some people, around 212. And then to the lower side, where people might be looking for some support, should they be looking to see it go down there around $98. And there's two reasons why those two places have been chosen, as well as support and resistance. You can see here on Rocky Outcrops Flash, right? This is the most accurate indicator I've ever used in my life, right? It just is. 98% chance, 93 to 98% chance it's going to happen up here at 212 spot 46. You've got a flash, and that's nearly definitely going to be filled. You can also see that we've got support lowest here on the 5 minutes, and on a line chart you can see it comes in around 130, 140, and then 145, and they're very close to us. Those support levels go up to the 15-minute time frame, shoot across to the left. You can see this inverted head and shoulders that we were hoping would turn into a bottoming formation. Yet to see that yet, it has to be clear. Look left, you can see this previous level of support around 147, 148 will also be relevant in the near future. And there's another horizontal level to look to, 140. Down here, you've got your 50% retrace and a fill that's all flash. It's already been filled at around 120. So there's that level, 50% retracement on the large Fibonacci. That's very interesting for price action. And then down here, the golden pocket at around $92, and anything in around here would be that 98, 92 lower level, where you would most definitely get some sort of a bounce. You know, you've got a number of reasons on the top side of this part, lower. You know, you very likely would get a bounce there should prices go down, and that would be where you'd find ultimate support. And the question is, which are we going to go to first? Right now, I'm not in charge of this, but it is something people have asked me about. Both of those two questions, separate people, multiple have asked about each of those targets. And so here's the answer as the charts tell us, right? We're looking at price action to derive your most likely scenario in the short term. You'd look back to the recently short periods of time here to our most recent high at the end of November at around that 250 level, down to these lows at around 130 something, right? So this is this price action we've gone through. Bullish accumulation formation, which is a wedge, I suspect. We broke out of it to the bottom side. It was a fake out, back to the top side, fake out, tested the inside of it again, and managed to reach the top side of it without creating a lower low, put in bullish divergence, and get a 236 recovery subsequent to that, which we, if I zoom in on the charts, am I zooming in? This is all working. I'm not muted, am I? Just double check. No. Hello, thank you. So we're looking at this and we're saying, what were we saying exactly? 236, we're looking here to see if you've recovered that. That comes in at around 152.87 or 84, right? Give or take a couple of cents. I think I like to say we're at that level at the minute. I mean, how accurate is that I've dropped that on? Is this the low of it here? I wouldn't draw it accurately at all, Sonny Jim. So the 236 has provided resistance on the top side is 156.95, and we're currently putting in a series of higher lows on this 15-minute, having put in a touch of bullish divergence on these lows. That's with the higher high on the oscillator, lower low in prices. So at this instance, you really wanted to cover the 236. At that point, it's the ladder. You're taking it up 382. The pace at which you go through there is interesting. The inverted head and shoulders has an implied target of around $180. Beyond that, you'll get to the 50% retracement, and then you've got a horizontal level of resistance at 196. Golden pocket on price action there to the 200 sort of area, and then you've got your flash looking left at these prices. You can see it's have gone off here, but also it's gone off on lower time frames on the 5 minutes at that area. As you can see there, 212, 213, and we haven't yet closed that since it's flashed. So price action is very, very highly likely to go there, and that would be the top side of this move. And I wouldn't expect price action to do all of that in one thrust. If it does, it would be the most aggressive move to the top side here, and likely the most aggressive move we've seen since the end of November, including the run up to that. In fact, it would be one of those highly volatile pushes to the top side. So that's very much where I think the chart suggests we're going, and the answer to the questions that people have asked. Though you're still saying to me, those people still saying, but I'm worried, and they've got their calls and whatever, and they're expiring within certain amounts of time. It's very close, and they want to know what price action is likely to do. So we'll go back up to the daily time frame here. Daily dally with the daily tealy time frame. Spread it out a little bit. No jokes there. So, and you can get a fairly clear picture of price action. It's the line chart, but it still tells you everything you need to know. Here, RSI says that we've broken out of the bearish control zone. We've broken out of the macro formation. We're heading towards the center line. That's very positive. DMI says that we're coming up for a trend check, that being on the downward sloping trend. And it likely does turn positive at that instance. So the ADX maintaining its strength and price action reaching above certain horizontals, those that are most crucial to see things go through on the DMI, I would suggest we are around 175, 176. You want to break this sort of high here. These closes at 177 and spot 77 at the top side, and the low end of that liquidity zone about 169. You want to get over and the top of that on the daily time frame in order to suggest that these other targets will be hit. But it looks strong, it's increasing, and it's heading towards important areas. It's above its own moving average, and we'd like to see continuation of that, right, that trajectory. But all that's being said, it's still currently bearish, though I'm talking about trend changes. 4-hour time frame here, then you've still now managed to make it above the center line, having hit it once, twice, recovered your own moving average in between times, and persisted at this zone is bullish. If you make it above the center line, then you would say that you're in bullish condition. That would also probably and likely come at the same time as the DI positive crosses the DI minus. And I'd like to see at that point a positive slope on the ADX. On the 1 hour time frame now, do we get any of that? No, not yet. Our own moving average is above us and we're below the center line, and there's still, though, a positive trend on the DMI with a touch of positivity coming through in the ADX, though it's not a strong area. So I'd like to see increasing this trend that's already in motion with the DI positive in the ascendancy, and I'd like to see it followed with the ADX along with our RSI resting above the center line. It can test it to the downside, it can even get knocked off the top of the bullish control zone, but I'd like to see this with a positive slope, and that continuation would naturally take it as a consequence through the center line where we're already testing at the minute. On lower time frames, 30 minutes here, and I'll also put on moving average, convergence, divergence, just to see here you've got negative crosses. If I also turn on moving averages, you can see price action has tested and now 200 and now aiming for the 50 simple. Once I'd see it recover that, I'd possibly anticipate that coming after a retest on the 236 perhaps, and then leading at that stage to a positive cross on the MACD, which would then give you a signal to take the trade, though most of the percentage move, should it be, not that that's the way you're doing this thing, but I would be able to, from my experience, anticipate that is likely to happen. It's bullish if you can also get this trend check to work out on the DMI. Though I do again notice this RSI persisting below the center line, and I would have liked to have seen it above the center line, at least on the 15 minutes, again below. So test to the downside possible. Here you are on the 15 minute, and you can see you've been violating this 50 period simple moving average. Support at the 200. Horizontals looking left, yes, you'd expect a bounce here, but it's not really materialized to anything on the top side. You haven't even got back above the 236, haven't failed to break it through it once. On the RSI, you can see that's convergent with lower strength, lower high, and your moving average turning over itself below the center line too. Not fantastic. Down in the 5 minute time frame, 50 period closing below the 200, price action following the 50 now until such times as something catches it support wise. That will either be at 150 or 148. If not, you'll take the other implied move that would be from the failure of that top side target, and you get 144. Then you've got a horizontal support around that liquidity zone all the way down to 140, maybe 139.50. Which I'd pay attention to because it's the right hand side of a potential inverted head and shoulders. Do we expect it to carry through? Well, we expect there to be tests of it. One test, another test with bullish divergence. At that stage, you would expect a 200 or a 236. You got both of them. This retracement is not terrible. This breakout isn't emphatic. And so I'd like to see increasing strength. You had a degree of, considering that's an uptrend. Interesting that. So we shall see this lower high with the RSI pushing higher to the top side of the bullish control zone. That's potentially positive, though this deep retrace on the RSI and prices not quite having made a lower low is then also worth considering. So you put those two things together and it'll confuse you. So that's the GME TA with regards to where do I expect price action to go. Well, it talks to the charts, talk to the strength and the momentum of the trend that has currently been to the downside. That strength is weak, right? Let's be honest. If everything we talked about there across the time frame suggested that it hadn't managed to achieve those significant milestones that we might like to see from it. And then when we looked at it on the daily time frame down with regards to the momentum oscillators and measuring that momentum, which we would see change before the trend, we got some positive signs but no confirmations, as in if you were trading it and looking for signals, they had not yet come, though they might do soon. Hiya pal, hiya everybody, thanks for being nice to each other. So that's the GME TA. Let's also shoot over now and quickly look at AMC, even though I didn't mention that I would talk about it in the video. You're in downtrend here on the 5 minute time frame, 50 as well and truly pushed through the 200. You've got crosses the wrong side of the MACD, so the momentum isn't there for a trade. Horizontal levels, I would expect to bounce at that 236.25 spot 99. If not, you'll see it another 50 cents off that. RSI not doing things fantastic here. 5-minute negative trend in ascendancy up to the 15-minute time frame. That's also negative, trapped in the bearish control zone. Negative trend, whoop you wazoo, and then likely building negative momentum here. Convergence to the downside, not fantastic. 30-minute time frame. Stretch this out now so that it's not quite so busy buzzy. Right, so you've got this cross here, the ascendance trends to the downside, that's strengthening. You've got a strong negative momentum along with it on the MACD, and then your RSI is trapped in the bearish control zone, so that's fucking awful. 1 hour time frame, similar story, like literally exactly the same, only your ADX is just turned white and above the center line, which usually when it gets a bit of enthusiasm, so could go a bit further, in which case the DI negative will likely get up to 45, which is, you know, the wrong side of where you want to find it. On the 4 hour time frame, is there some relief? Come on, at least you're now nope. Daily time frame. I mean, I want it to be positive, right? Like, you're looking for a test of the 236, so, you know, 25 and change. Either that's 46 cents change or it's 99 cents. And then at that stage, you could get a move taking you back up to 38. You'll really want it to already be above 33. Your 50 period simple moving average is about to cross through the 200 at 33.67. Not having recovered beforehand is less bullish than it could have been, which has implications if you're a technical trader. You're also looking at this thinking there'll be a cross. Again, implications. We've talked about these recently. In fact, we spoke about it a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. We said this scenario was going to happen. So welcome to what was the future. Well, what does it matter anyway, right? The only thing that matters is the fucking future. Cachicho! So yeah, you're looking at this and you're thinking, what's that big red mark? Well, so rocket outcrop flash at $10.88. There is a 93 to 98% chance that'll be filled. Does that mean it's going to happen before prices go up? No, not necessarily. I mean, you know, Rocky himself was talking about how prices at this point were an excellent buy if you hadn't already got loads of it, which he had. So, you know, and the rocket outcrop flash had come into this area long before prices have gone up. So, you know, and this is an indicator. You're also in a bullish accumulation formation as suggested by this bull flag. Likely measured move out of that takes you up to $7-8. So, you know, worth bearing that in mind. And now you've finally made it up to these time frames. You're out of the bearish control zone on the RSI. So perhaps, you know, you're this trend here, you're seeing it having tested so much dramatically lower and recovered. A number of trend lines recovered within that and Fibonacci's. Congratulations, got this test coming up. Likely does price action go back there, $32.50, $33. Open and closing above that's important. Trend change at the top side of resistance, meeting a supply line as the moving averages put in a death cross and price action going up is so very common. It is so very common. Those other things added to the death cross, like that bullish posturing, and you find that in an environment after increased volatility, and then comes a death cross. That death cross will be fucked out of town. It's no use. It's shit. It will likely be retested though, and at that point, it's a massive buy. That's what happens, right? So if AMC does make it up here and do those things, fucking fantastic. But we went through the time frames there, and it looked gash. So what do you want me to say? All right. Right, it just makes no fucking difference to the price what I say, and I'm going to be honest about it. And I know people don't like it sometimes, but then, you know, I've got more of it than you have, so like I'd probably know anyway. So thanks so much for watching AMC GME. We covered those things. We're also going to have a little bit of look at Alpha Wave, but I'm exhausted. We were going to also look at, what was the other one? Made.com. Interesting, right? Two things that I'd like to pay attention to the short interest on over the next wee while. Ha, he said it, and it's true, I did, and I would like to, on those two stocks over the next wee while, because I have my theories, and they are slightly contrarian, and I'd like to see what happens, and I'd say you might want to see what happens too. Pay attention, find a ticker, check it out. Made.com, Alpha Wave, interesting, both on London Stock Exchange. Like I say, languishing since they've launched, but a number of hedge funds have taken up quite aggressive short positions when, you know, the fundamental analysis doesn't actually say that that's a good decision right now. And so Is it somebody trying to get away with something sneaky, or is there opportunities abound from these seemingly amateur fucking hedge funds who don't seem to understand that we've got our eyes on you and we're looking for these fucking opportunities? Like, I'm desperate to make more money off another ticker that'll take it from a hedge fund as opposed to some other retail trader. That's the fucking business. So check it out for yourself. Tradespotting tip. That's the name of the channel, isn't it? So what else? I mean, what else is sleep time? AHT making a start of a good move up there. I like to see it up the 50 period simple moving average as this trade suggests, and it likely does do that. BlackBerry. They stopped selling their phones, man. They're shutting them off. No more BlackBerry access to 7.1 or 10.1 operating systems. The only reason they kept their phones going for so long was to say thanks to all their customers who loved it so much, had such a strong attachment to the brand and the product. And I understand it, right? I grew up, was one of those generations who had the BlackBerry phone. You know, BB Messenger was hilarious. And I did appreciate BlackBerry. I thought they were trying to do something that were interested in the interest of the common person. And then at the same time make shitloads of money. Right, fair enough. I also noticed that there was like various nefarious investors in it at different times. And hey, it wasn't all 100% above board at every stage. But on the other hand, right, badder bastards got involved, and they tried to destroy the company because they themselves, that's just a stupid understanding, right? Where also BlackBerry make, you know, privacy systems and software for governments and are 100% a legit company. Like, these hedge funds need to back the fuck off sometime. Anyway, so BlackBerry, their phones are shutting down. So that's interesting stuff to look at in the charts there. It's already started making some of that move that you got an entry on here, and then you got another second bite of the cherry when it came back to resistance, though it wasn't as good as the suggested entry. Congratulations, everybody who took that. Number of times we've traded that up and made money on it naked. A little bit of a recovery potentially. Well, it's come back up, and I'd say not yet. Net also potentially a good trade on the go at the minute. Gold miners back at this volatility area. I talked was it in the internet or with Rocky? Anyway, like, this is a likely retest, and here we are. For those who are interested in MPCT putting in a little bit of a move there. Excellent for everybody who's interested in that sort of thing. Roblox, another 5% off, but we did speak about how it was a little bit dodgy, and there's some interesting trades to be taken on this thing as and when the opportunity arises. Again, areas to look to on this thing, really important. 84, then up at 87, and again 96. All those big opportunities depending on how the charts look at the time. Rolls Royce obviously affected by the COVID news, hasn't changed the technicals though. Everything trading as you would expect, and excellent re-entries potentially. This is putting in what would look like a channel to the top side. See it at the 1618. If that does go up to 180, holy jugers McJugers, considering the environment that we're under at the minute. And then SPY, well, I mean, I skipped silver up to 10%. Very volatile at the minute, but hey, SPY still within this potential channel, touching the bottom side. What was demand is now supply. 200 period moving average, providing interesting touch points for the trend and signals across all assets, which is what SPY's great for. So what a great show. I think we covered everything, did we? This is the first show I've ever done where I didn't get a donation, if that's true. It's not that I've ever done, but I've done in months. So is this even on? It is, so that's okay. And did I miss anything on anything else? Click that, it'll tell me, no, nothing happened. Okay, excellent. Well, it's good story, a little bit later than normally would have been, but lots of helpful information, and glad I did it. I'm late, but I love you all. I'm not as late as me, Luke. You know, you've got an extra 5 to 8, maybe potentially, I don't know, 12. I don't actually understand time across the planet, but you've got a lot more time than I have. I'm way behind. Assad, you're right. Too much that doesn't add up. And weasel words from rich and powerful people always alarms me. What are these rich and powerful people saying now? Oh my goodness, what are they like? Right. Thanks very much, everybody. And there is a donation. And it's Luke Spears. Holy frickin' the guy, yeah, the legend. And he's late. Well, I hope you didn't get out of bed too early and you've got your lunch packed and all that. Thanks so much. Another one. Don't start donating now just because I said that. Thanks very much. Shadow of Lepton as well. You two legends, you two. You two legends. I'm sure you get. Well, I mean, I know you probably would. Thank you very much. That's appreciated. You are all very, very good to me. Everybody, thanks everybody who tuned in. Those people who stayed up late. Those people who were late but still came along. Hi, Pam. Hi, Joe. Another one. Don't do it now just because I said it now. Don't do that. There's another one now. You don't do it just because I said it now. Here you go, buddy. Hope your dad feels better. Thanks, Janine. Chips to stay at $5. Janine, $55 here as well. I hope you do feel better, Dad. Love you. He's you know, he just doesn't think. You know, he's like got a really heavy bag on his back. And he's in Egypt. Plus, also Edinburgh's like a very hilly city, right? It's lots of hills. I mean, you've no idea, right, how many hills there are in such a short area. Anyway, we have these little ways that you can get around, like closes or stairs that go up like across different areas, and bridges that you would think are just roads, but actually there's an underneath, and then there's another. Anyway, there's cities on top of cities, and we had the plague, and long story short, anyway, my dad's daft and will walk up all these really steep, dangerous steps instead of just taking the slightly longer, meandering route around. And then he also had an accident, didn't he? Like a big silly Billy. And Edinburgh train stations are like right down there in the middle of a valley, like all train stations are, right? Because who have fucking trains, right? We got to keep them on a flat line and everything's better overall. Well, I'm not, anyway, you know, this is Tradespotting, not Trainspotting. Thank you very much for everybody who was so generous and everybody tuned in. It's really appreciated, and I hope that we got some information across there that helped on technical analysis of your favorite stonks. I love you, brother. I love you too, Baba Jama, brother. Thanks, everybody. And remember, links in the description. If you do want to support the channel, loads of different ways you can do it. Some of them don't involve you spending money. If that's what you don't want to do, that's totally cool. There's other ways you can help if you're able to. It's appreciated. Thanks. And there's links in the description to things that can help you too. And then free stuff, at least there always was. And these charts, my charts, they're always available 24/7. The links to that are in the description via like other links or whatever. But it's all there, like it all is. And so we got that, and we got Janine and Tubes. Happy 2022. I don't think I read that out. Happy 2022, everybody. There's a cockroach rancher. Tradespotting. I live on a hill. Okay. Why is that funny? It's funny. But we have a few inches of snow. Oh, right. We don't have any. They've got like, I was speaking to Houston earlier. Houston Wade. And I was saying, he was saying he just got out from under a lot of snow. And I was saying we didn't really have the nice snow. That snow, it travels sideways. Always. It only travels sideways until it hits you in the face. Then it runs down your neck. We had the destination. I have to read this. Cockroach rancher. Inches of snow and ice, right? So he lives up a hill, but he still has the snow. That's not all that unusual, because when I've seen really tall hills, they often have got a bit of snow on them. I live on a hill, but we have a few inches of snow and ice, other than main roads which are ploughed. Oh well, of course. That's like a bit of a fun job. And Mr. Plough, that name again is Mr. Plough. And ups and burning rubber and skidding on the ice. Fucking hell. A little bit of crack there. That was a freaking generous donation too, by the way. Thank you very much. That's really appreciated. Thanks very much, everybody. Thanks. These are all very good to me. Thank you. Hope that was... Oh shit, I did that on the big chart. You know, it could have been better if I'd been saying thanks and doing that over here. Thanks, Danny True. Thanks, everybody who put those through. Thanks, Rocky. Thanks, everybody. Lots of love. Cheers. They're all very, very good. Thanks. See you tomorrow. Slightly earlier tomorrow because there'll be no disasters. Fuck.